everyone, welcome to another assembly video. As always, my name is Jay and I'm back in my workshop working on Krom Dragongaze. Krom Dragongaze is his name, and he is a cool special character from the Stormclaw limited edition box set. So I'm going to be putting him together today and I'll show you how I do it. As with my previous one, I'm just going to take it a little bit at a time, do it step by step, make sure each piece is nice and clean and prepared well before I glue it together. And my other tools I'll be needing today: my base, hobby knife, plastic glue from Army Painter, and that's it. So let's get started here. So we'll start off with the footing, because that's the foundation of the base. So we'll cut it out here. Just make sure that it's approximately consistent with the, there we go, yeah. So let me first start off by cutting it out with my hobby clippers. Oh, sorry, I'm also using hobby clippers. So cut out the foot part of the base. And here's his arm, other leg. Just make sure, be careful when cutting it out. And this is a pretty cool kit, and it seems pretty standard. Like they done a good job, because it's almost like a starter set with some of these pieces. So the new guys, they really do click together really nicely. And that's the first few pieces removed from the sprue. So now I'm just going to take my hobby knife and look carefully, remove the excess hobby lines. Remember, when using a hobby knife, to always cut away from your face, away from your body, away from your fingers. You don't want to cut anything that's important. So there's his base. Here's the, and for the lines, I just like to take my brush and do that. Just, you know, drag it away from me, kind of like whittling, and remove those hobby lines. This one right there as well. So that's good. Foot. And next one, once again, there's that line mark right there. So we will just work hard to remove it. Go. So while that's happening, I might as well just talk about stuff. So obviously, as I kind of predicted, there's a new Space Wolf ship coming out this week, which means Space Wolves are next. Probably it's going to be like 3 weeks of releases. Last week being the Codex release, because that way people are kind of forced to buy the White Dwarf to see the cool new rules before assembling and building their ships, right? You want to know the price costs, and you want to know the rules attached to them before you do it. So to do that, you have to buy a White Dwarf. And then a couple weeks later, they released the Codex. But you did get to know earlier, and you paid like $5 to to see the rules earlier, which is cool. But usually after the Codex comes out, the White Dwarfs are vestigial. There we go. So now we got those pieces together. Let's put them together. So we'll start off by gluing this foot part to the base. Just gonna give my glue a couple seconds to get down to the bottom. There we go. We're just going to put a little bit of glue all over the base. And of course I'm going to use plastic glue today because I'm using plastic pieces. Try to minimize the spider webbing, as I call it, or people call it. I don't necessarily trademark the phrase. And it's supposed to go this far away from the base, kind of like that. So that way, let's just put this together. So one part goes there, this foot will go in there. So hold him there. And his other foot like that. So there we go. So he's going to be relatively centered, or a little bit sideways in his base. I don't mind that because it gives him a little bit of character. So first part is stuck in, and we'll put in the second part So just fill in this gap with some plastic glue. Plenty. And plastic glue is just awesome because if you're working with plastics, it really basically welds it together. Look at that. And that's going to stay. You know, it really melts them together. And it's not a very flimsy bond like super glue. But it's great. Obviously, though, if you're using plastic glue, you pretty much have to assemble it before the model's painted, because it will melt through the paint and won't create that good of a bond if you're trying to plastic glue over. Cool, look at that. So now the pieces are in. Foundation of our model. Make sure it stands together. Good. And you notice I'm not pressing that hard because these parts really do just go in together. It's peg and hole, so it looks really good. Cool. Now for this paint, I'm going to make a painting tutorial of this model, but it's going to be in the warp. Just to let you guys know. And I'm not going to only hold out on the warp, or sorry, not hold out on you guys. I am going to make a tutorial as well for you guys. Probably a Space Marine, a Grey Hunter tutorial, or maybe a Terminator tutorial. So right now it's time to cut out the middle pieces of the body. I'm definitely going to make a tutorial with Grey Knights, not Grey Wolves, Space Wolves, Grey Wolves. They're grey, they like wolves. Grey Wolves, that's my new army from, it's the Grey Wolves. Or the J Wolves, kidding. So I'm going to make a tutorial out of that for them in the near future for you guys, probably tomorrow. You know, what I really like about the Grey Hunters is they definitely have, the Space Wolves in general, their models look like they're Space Marines, but they have so much character to them. They really do. They have that old, you know, Nordic look to them. And of course, their names for their stuff kind of gets a little silly sometimes. You know, it's a little bit too wolfy and bear or wolf, you know, themed. Everything has a wolf or a bear in it. But they're cool. You know, they have an interesting faction. They're kind of the rebels. That's good. And what I really like about this cast is there's not a lot of points of connection, so you don't have to deal with that many, and there's not many mold lines at all. There's the worst one so far. Just be careful when cutting pieces like that, the flimsier pieces, because you don't want to accidentally remove it from the piece or from the model. That would not be good. And this one is basically done. There we go. All right, so now the two halves. So let's, before we glue, let's just do a dry run for a second. Pretty certain this goes right on top of here because it looks cool. Okay, so it's like a sideways. So he's definitely bending his body. And then this goes on top. Like that. Cool. So he's actually standing really like heroically. Hello. I am Krom Dragongaze. You know, cool. That's good stuff. So let's. You'll see me frequently doing that with my glue because I don't like the, you know, spider webs, people call them. There we go. There's plenty of glue. Break up those webs. There's an actual like chemical reaction that people talk about why that happens. But for me, I just call them spider webs. That's good enough for me. Goes together like that. Perfect. And then we're going to just add a little bit more glue. extra webs. Look at that. Just gonna make sure it's on focused. Maybe I should zoom in a little more. That's good. So, now I'm zoomed in. There we go. So we got the body done. Look at that. The kit just clicks together so easily, so nicely and cleanly. And he just has that really nice dynamic pose. Look at the detail on this cloak. Doesn't that look beautiful? I can't wait to paint up this guy. He is going to be fun. Back of the, look at that. So great stuff there. Look at that detail. Next we have the arms. So alright, we're going to cut out the arms now. Move them aside. Alright. So first arm. Now at this point it's optional if you want to drill out the gun, the barrel of his gun. I'm not going to. I want to just keep it like that. But you can if you want. So just letting you know this would be the point because you're just removing it from the the sprue. So it's always a great time. Personally, I like to always magnetize or drill out my bits before assembling because it makes it a lot easier, and that way you don't need to put so much strain on the model after you've assembled it. That mold line right there. And I'm just going to chop this. Let's see if I can get a better angle. So I'm going to zoom out. And just remove that excess mold line. There we go. Nice and clean. Now we can zoom back in. And look at that. So we got the arms. Oh, there's a bad mold line right there as well. We don't want that on our model. This is an HQ, so we just do not. We want them to look all nice and awesome. We don't want them to look mold liney. Mold lines removed from the realism model and just make it look a little silly. There we go. So another great kit piece. So let's take him. And obviously the left arm goes in there, and it's the gun arm. So make sure this is nice and just make sure. Sorry, I'm just making sure that the glue, I accidentally put my glue upside down, so that way it doesn't, it's going to take a second to come out. There we go. Boom. Put up there. And then let's take the arm. That's probably a little bit too much. Let's just remove a little bit. There we go. Remove the excess. Look at that. This kit just goes together so nice and cleanly and simply that it does not take much holding to keep these things in place. One piece in. Next this piece. Let's see where that goes. Should be like that. Look at that. Nice and cleanly. in for a couple seconds. That way it just stays in place. A little bit of pressure. And look at that. Alright, I can't wait. This guy's going to be looking so good on the battlefield. So awesome. So that's done. Let's put on the axe and the shoulder pads. Once again, let's move them back, put the focus back on this kit. Let's put the axe. So the shoulder pads and the axe. So we'll cut out the shoulder pads. Hope your summers are going well. Well, at least it's summer here in Canada. It's probably winter in certain places like Australia. And that's cool stuff, you know. I'm just busy. Been a busy bee. This, I know I'm an old fart for saying busy bee, but I'm busy. You know, since I've launched the Warp in June, I've put up, yeah, well over 100 videos, about over 100 videos. So, I'm busy, you know, cool. Look at that detail on that axe. Beautiful detail. All the nice etching. Very cool stuff. And he has the pattern. I think I'm going to go over that and, I don't know, I'm going to help create that effect. Maybe a dry brush over it, or an overbrush to get the like icy look to it. We'll see. I'll have to think about it before my tutorial. Let's see, there's a bit of a line right there. As I said, be careful. Don't put on too much pressure. Technically, I recommend using a sharper blade. Sharper blades have less pull because they're cutting. You know, they're sharper, so they just cut straight through and they don't pull on the pieces. So if you're worried about breaking them, for example, usually the sharper the blade, the better. But obviously, if you're a kid out there, don't do this without parental supervision. I gotta be responsible. Cool. And this is the art of putting a model together. But it's a really cool kit. And it's, as I said in my previous video, I didn't think it was going to be a limited edition, or at least that limited numbers. Like, it's already gone off the website. It doesn't exist anymore. It's come and gone. And it's quite surprising that it's already gone. I'm just getting the glue going again. Good. Put a little glue. There. Little glue. There. So we'll start off by putting this piece in here. Look how cleanly that goes in, just super easily. Fits in perfectly, like a glove, right there. Perfect. This piece. There we go. Very little wiggle room. So there he goes. That's great. And now let's add the axe. So let's get that nice pose. He has such a really cool, heroic pose to him. I'll give him that. Like, he's just holding his axe up in a cool self-defense pose. We'll just swing it. I'm going to angle it a little more upwards, like that. This is a frost axe. Cool. Now, backpack, head, and then symbol. So let's remove the last few pieces from the sprue, or the home stretch. There's the sprue. Be especially be especially careful with the head, because you don't want to make a giant mistake on the head, make him look all deformed. Good. Sprue, empty. Let's remove the mold lines once again. Yeah. One mold line gone. Two mold line gone. I'm getting super excited for Gen Con. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to go. I went to Adepticon this year, and I had so much fun. I'm like, I'm going to Gen Con. And then I turned around and just booked my ticket for next year's Adepticon. Because it was so much fun. And it was really cool meeting all the viewers. You know, I have so many names that I've become, you know, just known to see. Like, I know them because they put comments, they leave suggestions, they're awesome people. But I've never got to meet them. And Adepticon was the first time that I've actually been able to, you know, sit down and talk with these people. And it was really cool. It was really cool just getting to know the viewers, because, you know, it's kind of a one-sided deal right now most of the time. Well, other than your questions for Q&J, and I get emails from people every now and then. There we go. So the backpack is securely on. And people, like, I got to know, as I said, certain people, but it was just really cool getting to know all the people from, you know, the topics and the forums, and all the people who leave comments on the videos. For next video, I'm probably going to change my knife. This one's getting really dull, and I probably should have used a sharper one to begin with. Kind of seeing now how dull it was. But there we go. Still working. Wins job. Working hard. Like, see that flat-headed bottom? That's awesome. It's just going to allow so much surface area to be attached to the body. Put some glue on it. Make him face where he's shooting, because you'd be looking where you want to shoot. Plus this pose is really, he should be looking to his left. There we go. Okay. And there he is. Look at him. He looks pretty good. He's now done. It's taken me about 15 minutes to assemble him, maybe more. On up, and I'm talking. If I wasn't talking, it'd be faster. But he looks great. Let's just take a look at him. He looks so awesome. Has a great pose to him. Great action pose. Here's from the back. All that detail. Just all the fur. His helmet. His shoulder pads. His axe. The detail's exquisite. I even really love the boulder that he's stepping on. And the kit went together really easily, quite effectively, and it's going to stay together really nicely because of the way that it's designed. And yeah, it looks great. I can't wait to paint him up. As I said, the tutorial is going to be in the warp, but don't worry, you guys. I'm still going to make a tutorial of some sort for Space Wolves for you guys for free as well. So see that soon. And yeah, please like the video. Comment in the comment section down below if you want me to keep doing these building videos. And please subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. It really does help a lot. And until next time, this is Jay saying, and Krom So it's Jay and Krom Dragongaze saying, happy painting, everyone.